My name's Ewan McGregor, and I play Catcher Block in the new film DowN with LoVE.
20th Century Fox and Regency Enterprises present a new film that's out of this world.
Are we rolling?
Okay, here we go. Pictures up and roll sound. We're rolling. Marker.
Down with love, Steve. Take 3.
Action.
Do you work for me? You're asking the audience to completely buy into the fact that it's a 60s film.
It transports you into another world, into another time.
You're fired. Uh-huh. No, I'm not. Oh!
This was just gangbusters, and everyone just leapt into it.
Everything about it is just alive and vibrant. It's like that's what movies are for.
Get ready for romance, sex, and a swinging good time in the making of DowN with LoVE. Taking its cues from the popular bedroom comedies of the early 60s, the film stars Renee Zellweger, Ewan McGregor, David Hyde Pierce, and Sarah Paulson in a hilariously hip romantic romp.
It takes its cues from these old early 60s Doris Day Rock Hudson movies, but it was a really, really stylized story.
I just popped by for a little sex on a cart.
Uh-oh.
One thing that people get out of DowN with LoVE is that in addition to being hilariously funny,
Catcher Block on Barbara Novak, penetrating the myth.
We'll have to sell it in a brown wrapper.
it also just feels so completely fresh.
As much as it's an homage to the Rock Hudson Doris Day comedies, the overall impression when you see it, I think, is going to be, I've never seen a movie like this before.
We've tumbled headlong into the early 60s.
Crazy!
Mark it.
In the story of DowN with LoVE, Renee Zellweger plays Barbara Novak, who writes a book called DowN with LoVE.
Here's to Bannerhouse's new #1 author.
Her new book is DowN with LoVE, a how-to manual for women who find themselves distracted by love. And it's all in my book. DowN with LoVE, not sex.
Ewan McGregor plays Catcher Block, who is No Magazine's Pulitzer Prize-winning journalist.
He's so suave and slick, you know. James Bond without the espionage. Easy, baby. Careful you don't fall out.
He's a playboy, ladies' man, man's man, man about town, and he disagrees with everything that Barbara Novak stands for.
Mr. McManus, Catcher Block has just landed on the roof.
When he gets in, tell him to see me. He's fired.
Peter McManus, who's played by David Hyde Pierce, is the owner of No Magazine.
Ewan's character is my star journalist,
You're fired.
No, I'm not.
Oh, yes, you are.
who's kind of a handful.
Star journalist Catcher Block was seen leaving the Copa last night with 3 girls from the floor show.
Vicky Hiller, who's played by Sarah Paulson, is an editor at Bannerhouse Publishing.
Vicky, because she's such a genius, comes up with this great idea. I got you a cover story written by No Magazine star journalist Catcher Block.
The ladies' man, man's man, man about town?
Well, I'm not interested in interviewing Barbara Novak because she's a spinster librarian, as far as I'm concerned, who's written a book because she can't get laid. Who else would write a book called DowN with LoVE?
Well, the book becomes this huge hit. DowN with LoVE, just everyone on the planet reads it.
DowN with LoVE changed my life.
And all these women start treating men like men have been treating women.
That pink book is ruining my life. All our wives are giving us trouble.
The guys are screwed, but not, the way they wish they were.
I'm not talking about my wife. I'm talking about my mistress.
It's sexually motivated.
That's basically my motivation. Sex, sex, sex.
It's just not right. You have to get to Novak. You have to solve this catch. You have to squash her.
So I decide the only way to get out of it is to write an expose that shows her up as a fraud. I am going to bury that Novak broad and turn this crazy upside down with love world right side up again. All women want love and marriage, and I am going to make Novak fall in love.
Wow, how?
You've never heard of my book, DowN with LoVE?
No, ma'am, I have not.
There's real chemistry and sexual tension, and there's a real romance between those two characters. In DowN with LoVE, you're going to be transported back to a very colorful time, the 60s, with all the fashions and all the design and all the bachelor pads. We shot on 4 stages, and Andrew Laws, the production designer, built 55 sets, large and small.
I pretty much say this is the dream job because it's my favorite period in architecture, but pushed to a level of a little bit more theatrical.
We see these sound stages where these magnificent sets, beautifully designed, sort of born out of the 60s, but still very unique designs, things you've never seen before.
The apartments of each character really tell you a lot about that character. I mean, you see Barbara Novak's apartment, and it's this, very white and pink, gigantic, airy apartment.
It's like eye candy. It's wonderful to look at. The furniture and the shag carpets and these vibrant colors.
Catcher Block's apartment has a darker feel. It's very masculine. It has all these hidden, tricked-out bachelor pad gadgets, and, it feels like a trap.
Catcher's apartment is a sex machine. It's a big sex trap.
10 minutes in my apartment and you'll both forget all about dinner.
I go there on my date with Vicky thinking I'm going to be all suave and cool, but only when I get there do I realize that I haven't got a clue. I don't even know where the bar is.
I don't understand this, Peter. How does a person lose their built-in bar?
I swear, it was here a minute ago. There are hidden switches.
Lights that dim at the flick of a switch.
Ooh!
And a bar that comes out of the wall.
Probably switches that I haven't even figured out what they do, but they're scary.
It is kind of James Bond fantasy apartment.
Hey, found it.
One of the fun things about making Down with Love was you could make a big deal about what somebody was wearing.
I remember the very first thing we did in wardrobe and everything was screen tests. That was really a kick. We weren't even shooting the movie yet.
When they saw each other in the costumes, they were just out of their minds. Everyone was starting to get a sense of how much fun making this movie was really going to be.
It was a blast, and we all looked fantastic because Daniel's just done such an amazing job with the costumes.
My goodness, you're gorgeous.
We feel so lucky to have Daniel Orlandi designing our costumes for this movie.
This has been a dream job for me. When I read the script last year, I said, I have to do this movie.
First thing he said is, I've waited my whole life to do this movie since I was a small boy. This is the movie I've been waiting to do.
The wardrobe couldn't be a larger part of the movie if we tried. And every person, when I got this movie, everyone was like, oh, the clothes. You're gonna wear great clothes.
Today, we're filming the Mahogany Room. The girls come in together and we do our little fashion show.
We have this entire scene where we're strutting with our outfits.
The girls' costumes are from another planet. They have these elegant silk things that they just slough off like a second skin.
All you see are like little heads popping out, and mine is purple and hers is pink.
You wrap them in these gorgeous gowns and they look stunning.
You dig, Daddy-O?
Oh, I do dig. Well, we wear an awful lot of hair. Well, I do, anyway, a lot of hairspray. I've been in a Force 8 gale with this quiff and it hasn't moved an inch. Sorry.
The movie sort of bumps up against being a musical a few times. It has that sort of buoyancy to it where you almost feel like they could break out in song. It's incredibly romantic.
There's a music to the language of these movies, and I think everyone has been able to capture that. I know Mark Shaman's doing the music, and he's a genius.
The music's a really important component to the movie, and Mark Shaman was one of the first people that we hired on the movie because he was the perfect guy.
At 44, come on.
And Mark, when we first talked about the score, said he absolutely wanted to record it in Hollywood.
It was so right up my alley, and I didn't know anyone else who could do it or would. I've been waiting for this movie to come along my whole life to score it, because this is the kind of music I've always wanted to been writing for movies.
And that's fantastic, because they really have captured it.
He's the only guy I could think of who could do it.
We think Peyton Reed is a bit stylized and a bit twisted. In addition to being a hilariously funny screenplay, we needed a director that could embrace that sense of style, and fortunately for all of us, frankly, Peyton read it and loved it.
Peyton just got it. He was into rear screen projection. He was into stock shots. He was into just the fun of doing it.
Hello?
Hello, Barbara. It's Zip.
Hello, Zip.
We use split screens. There's several montages. There's stock footage that's used. So the whole visual design of the movie is meant to evoke that period and really feel as if you're watching a movie that was made during the early 60s.
He has such a love and an enthusiasm for the Down with Love universe.
Peyton was having such a great time. There wasn't a moment where we weren't laughing, I think. He plays guitar and drums and sings.
He's a comedian and a ventriloquist and an actor and a director. Is the Thing doing this move?
That's the Thing.
And ending up in the Thing and the Thing?
Yeah, the two things with the Thing.
Okay.
Nothing cuts to this thing.
Well, that's clear to me.
Can we have the Thing?
Ewan McGregor looks like Sean Connery in the Bond movies. And of course, Renee Zellweger is one of the most beautiful women on the planet. And the chemistry between the two of them is just magnificent.
Would you like to go to my place and get to know each other a little better?
A little better?
A lot better.
And there are times even between Renee and Ewan that you're not sure if they're acting. They seem like they may have dropped character and they're just laughing and having a good time.
Hang on. Who am I?
Obi-Wan.
Thanks. There's a great feeling on the set. There's a great bunch of people making this movie. I'm living my childhood fantasies of being an actor as we speak. We wear fantastic clothes and look as glamorous as you like and go and act in these incredible sets.
It's really bright and fun and poppy.
It takes you to another world in a way that's just so funny and very original.
Down with love, girls! It's revenge against men!
It was aggressively comedic, but the romantic quality of the movie really, really sneaks up on you.
You have an eyelash. Make a wish.
You want to be transported, and this movie is beyond transporting. It'll shoot you right to the moon.
You've got it bad, and that is not good.
You don't actually know what to expect with it. I don't want love. It's against everything I stand for.
I've got her exactly where I want her.
Or maybe you just like spending time with her.
It's fantastically eccentric and brilliant. A romantic comedy, but with the big twist at the end. Barbara, wait!
You blew it, buddy.
It's vibrant and so captivating. It's just really fun to watch.
Crazy, Daddy-O.
This is terrible. We're behaving just like two people in love.